I see a lot of women like right now during this time in quarantine that they're like trying to manage being like working and trying to manage being a mom and a stay-at-home mom and well, rather homeschooling, and just kind of putting all these pieces together at the house. And I know you do that because I know you're a music teacher. I know you have 2 children. And so I'm like, how is she managing that? Because it seems like you're doing it really well.
That's nice of you to say. I am doing it really well a lot, but not all the time, and I think that that's a part of why I feel like I'm doing okay is because I'm giving myself a lot of grace, So part of who I am is I'm an active person. I'm very social. I like to be busy. Normally I work 4 jobs, right? I teach at the preschool. I teach mommy and me music class, music together. And I teach private lessons in people's homes. Yeah. I volunteer at our church for leading the church choirs, like the little kids choirs. And I'm in a couple choirs. So for me, that's been like the hardest part, right? Is the transition from so much social interaction to like none. And, but I also work well under pressure. So like, while I was resistant to change, like, I don't want to do this. I really feel like it's like I've grown a lot because I've had to make that transition to online. So now I'm, making the videos for the music classes, which I don't like. A huge part of what I do is like creating relationships, right, in the classroom through music. And that's such an important aspect of it for me. And I think for the kids. So I was very resistant to it. Like, I didn't want to do it at all, but doing it, has helped me to grow and learn. And I'm teaching online private lessons also. And that's like a whole new struggle, because people were also resistant to change, right? I've had a couple parents who were like, no, we're not going to do that.
Oh, really?
And that's fine. I had to respect how everybody is going through this whole pandemic situation. I mean, everybody is responding differently,
Right.
And the students that I do have still are, honestly, they're paying better attention because I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but they're actually more present in the lesson, and I'm getting more like active participation and probably more at home, I think a huge part of it is the parents' involvement. Like, the parents are forced to be more involved, and that's a really pivotal aspect of music lessons. So I do feel like, we're honoring and respecting the time and position and place of everybody else. I think they've also waived their rules for beginning and ending lessons. Like, if you want to quit, you have to give a certain amount of notice. And I think that they've waived some of those rules.
Okay.
Also, I mean, definitely still, it's a business. And
Totally.
But also, we are a family-run business. The studio is run by a family, so they are really amazing people. And I've actually noticed with a lot of other things happening, like, most businesses are actually being very accommodating. Like, oh, you have to do this. Well, like, I was kind of scared because we're planning our wedding in August, and I'm like, what happens if, like, because I put down deposits on a bunch of stuff. And I'm concerned.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Now, you have 2 kids at home and you're teaching at home. So when do you teach?
Oh, I'm so blessed that my daughter is in kindergarten.
Okay.
And my son is 4. So he'll be starting like pre-K in the fall. So with him, if I can get him to do an activity that's remotely learning, I'm happy. Like, we've hidden some, like a puzzle that's wooden letters. I hid those in like a bean box, and then I bribe him, I'm not going to lie, with Skittles. And so we play like a bingo letter match. So he has to dig in there, pull out a letter and say, oh, this is a C, and then find the C on his paper. And then we all play bingo. And then whenever you win, you get to eat your Skittles.
Love it.
So, and with my daughter, honestly, another super huge blessing, like she is a self-starter. Like I was like, oh, here's our sample schedule for while we're in quarantine and homeschooling. And she was like, oh, 9 o'clock, I need to go make my bed and put on my clothes. And she
That
like,
is so cute.
and yeah, and
but that's key because you set a schedule for her. You know, some parents are just kind of like, I don't even know how to start with making the schedule, right?
I mean, it has not been easy. If we don't follow the schedule, then I'll realize after a few days, like she hasn't practiced her piano, or, you know, like the things that I have a running like list in my mind of what we need to do and how we need to function, and the things that I want her to accomplish and progress in,
right,
for all of the family members, really. But if I don't have a schedule, then I will end up like baking and watching movies.
So I heard you mention that you did make the masks, that you've been trying to make masks.
So there's a Facebook page. It's like a whole website, sewing masks for Atlanta hospitals.
Oh.
And so I have a friend, I guess, who was doing it, and I was like, oh, I want to do that, you know, because like I said, I'm just an active person, you know, like I don't like to be idle. And it's not as though I have so much time on my hands that I have to fill it with something, but I also want to lead by example for my kids, right? I don't want to be just sitting at home and feeling like the world's going to end, right? I want to show them that I can do my part. And
cute. Oh, I love those.
Little, like a piece of a pipe cleaner that I cut and then sewed in. And then right there, and if you can see in the fabric, is a pocket.
That is cute.
You can put a filter, even if it's like a coffee filter or whatever. And then